Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to F1 Central, the ultimate destination for all things Formula One. Whether you're a die-hard fan of the world's fastest motorsport or a newcomer looking to dive into the world of F1, we've got you covered. Our team of expert analysts and insiders are dedicated to bringing you the most comprehensive coverage of the sport, with unparalleled access to the drivers, teams, and behind-the-scenes stories that make F1 so captivating. Today, we're bringing you the explosive news that's taking the racing world by storm. Reports that McLaren's Zach Brown has made a top-secret visit to Red Bull Powertrain's site. Yes, you heard that right, the McLaren boss was seen lurking around the Milton Keynes headquarters of Red Bull's power unit. And tongues are wagging about what this could mean for the future of the sport. To understand why this news is causing such a stir, let's take a closer look at the importance of the powertrain in F1. The powertrain is the collection of components in a vehicle that generates and transmits power to the wheels. In an internal combustion engine, the powertrain typically includes the engine, transmission, drive shaft, differential, and axles. The powertrain is responsible for converting the energy stored in fuel into the mechanical energy needed to move the vehicle. The engine is the heart of the powertrain, and it generates power by burning fuel and air in a combustion chamber. The combustion process produces high-pressure gases that push against a piston, causing it to move up and down. The movement of the piston is transferred to the crankshaft, which converts the reciprocating motion of the pistons into rotary motion. The rotary motion is then transmitted to the transmission, which allows the driver to change gears and control the speed of the vehicle. In a hybrid or electric vehicle, the powertrain includes an electric motor and a battery in addition to the engine and transmission. The electric motor generates torque by using electrical energy from the battery to turn a rotor. The rotor is connected to the wheels through a transmission, allowing the electric motor to provide supplemental power to the engine or drive the wheels directly. The science behind the powertrain is complex and multifaceted, involving principles of thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, and mechanical engineering. The efficiency of the powertrain is determined by factors such as the compression ratio of the engine, the gearing of the transmission, and the aerodynamics of the vehicle. In the context of Formula One, the powertrain is a critical factor in determining a team's success on the track. The power and efficiency of the engine can make a significant difference in lap times, while the gearing and transmission can affect acceleration and top speed. The development of a competitive powertrain requires extensive research and development, as well as significant investment in technology and resources. This is why partnerships between teams and engine manufacturers are so important in the sport, as they allow teams to leverage the expertise and resources of companies with extensive experience in powertrain development. And that brings us back to the story at hand, the potential partnership between McLaren and Red Bull powertrains. McLaren has had a tumultuous relationship with its engine suppliers in recent years. The team's partnership with Honda, which began in 2015, was widely expected to be a game changer for the team. However, the partnership quickly soured as Honda struggled to develop a competitive power unit. The engine was plagued with reliability issues, and the team endured a string of frustrating retirements and poor performances. In 2017, after 3 years of lackluster results, McLaren announced that it was terminating its partnership with Honda. The following year, McLaren entered into a new partnership with Renault in hopes of turning its fortunes around. While the Renault engine was a significant improvement over the Honda power unit, it was still not enough to put McLaren back on top. The team struggled with reliability issues throughout the 2018 season, and its drivers often found themselves fighting for minor points finishes. The partnership with Renault ended in 2020, when McLaren announced that it would be returning to Mercedes engines for the 2021 season. The move was seen as a significant coup for the team, as Mercedes had dominated the sport in recent years and was widely considered to have the most competitive power unit on the grid. With Mercedes' power, McLaren was expected to be a serious contender for race wins and podium finishes. But with the new 2026 engine regulations on the horizon, McLaren is on the hunt for a game-changing powertrain, and where better to turn than the mighty Red Bull powertrains. Sources say that Brown's visit was shrouded in secrecy, and even Christian Horner himself was taken aback when asked about it. "I thought he was coming for lunch." Another reason why McLaren may be interested in working with Red Bull powertrains is the potential for greater access to data. As Christian Horner Honda pointed out while there may not be much money in supplying customer teams, engine manufacturers can gain valuable insights from supplying engines to other teams. By partnering with Red Bull, McLaren could gain access to a greater pool of data, which could help the team to optimize the performance of its own power unit. However, it is important to note that McLaren is not the only team exploring its options when it comes to powertrains. As we've previously mentioned, there have been rumors that McLaren is also considering a possible partnership with Honda, should the Japanese firm decide to return to F1. Honda has a storied history in the sport, having supplied engines to some of the most successful teams in F1 history, including Williams, McLaren and Red Bull Racing. At the same time, other engine manufacturers are also making moves to position themselves for the new 2026 regulations. Mercedes, for example, has already confirmed that it will continue to supply engines to its own works team as well as customer teams, despite rumors that it may exit the sport. Ferrari is also expected to continue its engine supply deals, while Renault is rumored to be considering a potential exit from F1. But what are these regulations? The new F1 engine regulations for 2026 are set to introduce significant changes to the current power unit formula. The key changes include 1. Removal of MGU-H. The MGU-H, motor generator unit heat, component of the power unit will be removed. This component is responsible for recovering energy from the turbocharger and using it to power the MGU-K, motor generator unit kinetic, which in turn provides electrical power to the wheels. The removal of the MGU-H is intended to simplify the power unit and reduce costs. 2. Increase in electrical assistance. The amount of electrical assistance provided by the MGU-K will be increased from the current 120 kilowatts to 240 kilowatts. This is intended to make the power units more powerful and efficient, and to increase the role of electrification in the sport. 3. Standardized energy storage. The energy storage system used in the power unit will be standardized, with a focus on reducing cost and complexity. 4. Sustainable fuels. The new regulations will require the use of sustainable fuels, which are produced using renewable sources and have a lower carbon footprint than traditional fossil fuels. This is part of F1's ongoing efforts to reduce its environmental impact. Overall, the new regulations are aimed at making the power unit simpler, more efficient, and more sustainable. The changes are also intended to reduce costs and increase competition among engine manufacturers, which could lead to closer racing and more exciting on-track action. So what does this all mean for the future of the sport? The new 2026 engine regulations represents a major shake-up for F1 and could lead to a reshuffling of the current power dynamics in the sport. With Mercedes having dominated the sport for the past several years, teams like Red Bull and McLaren will be looking to gain a competitive edge with their power units. The race to develop the most powerful, efficient, and reliable power unit will be fierce, and partnerships between teams and engine manufacturers will play a crucial role in determining who comes out on top. At the same time, the changes to the power unit formula represents an opportunity for F1 to push the boundaries of technology and innovation. With a greater emphasis on electrification and sustainability, the sport has the potential to position itself as a leader in green technology and a pioneer in the development of next-generation powertrains. This could not only help to attract a new generation of fans to the sport, but also positions F1 as a key player in the global fight against climate change. In conclusion, the potential partnership between McLaren and Red Bull powertrains represents a significant development in the world of Formula One. With the new 2026 engine regulations on the horizon, teams are scrambling to position themselves for the future of the sport. For McLaren, a partnership with Red Bull powertrains could provide the team with a competitive edge in the race to develop the most powerful and efficient power unit. At the same time, the partnership could also provide access to a greater pool of data, which could help the team to optimize the performance of its own engine. However, it's important to note that McLaren is not the only team exploring its options when it comes to powertrains, with Mercedes, Ferrari, and other engine manufacturers also positioning themselves for the new regulations. The race for power unit supremacy is sure to be a fierce one. The next few years are sure to be a thrilling time for fans of Formula One as the sport pushes the boundaries of technology and innovation in its quest for speed, power, and glory.